trying to tell people. I've been telling them for the longest time. Hiring CM Punk was not the move to make. That's not a move. You just do not hire CM Punk. The dude is broke. He's all jacked up.
You can't blame them, bro. CM Punk. That's money.
I didn't know we started. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we started, man.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition.
This man.
Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Anthony Velvet Hall with my guest, the one, the only, Neff.
Idiot.
And ladies and gentlemen, to say we have a heck of a lot to unpack is an understatement. How many of y'all just got finished watching that Falcons game? Is it still going on? Because last time I looked, Falcons were up by 2 points with like 48 seconds left. So in between now and when this podcast ends, something catastrophic happens. That's crazy. But speaking of catastrophes, let's get right down to this week's news, shall we? So, as everybody knows, All Out took place. Matchup for the Unified or Undisputed AEW World Heavyweight Championship took place between CM Punk and Jon Moxley, with CM Punk winning the match and becoming the Undisputed Champion. Now, here's the crazy thing. CM Punk did not take too lightly to simply winning. No, he had to go full RF video on everybody at the press conference with good old Tony Khan sitting at his side. But anyway, with Tony Khan sitting there, CM Punk decided he wanted to rake certain people over the coals, specifically Colt Cabana, who was a former friend of Punk's, and acting EVPs, Executive Vice Presidents of AEW, the Young Bucks, who had just become the initial Trios champions with Kenny Omega earlier that night. Let's just cut the semantics. Long story short, there were a bunch of bad feelings over a bunch of bad words, and there were punches thrown. There was a fight that happened between all parties involved, and a bunch of suspensions, which wound up ending up in the AEW World Heavyweight Championship being vacated, and the first Trios champions being stripped. So now, as a result of that, we are all stuck with an amazing clusterfuck. Yes, we have this crap that is known as the AEW Championship or Tournament of Champions that is set to crown a new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. On top of that, the very first match on Dynamite last Wednesday saw a new set of Trios champions crowned in the Death Triangle. The Lucha Brothers and Pac, who's now officially Tupac with 2 belts. So, with all that being said, Neff, you've been I'm rolling out the red carpet for you. As a matter of fact, wait. I can't just roll out the red carpet for Neff. I gotta really roll out the red carpet for Neff. So, Neff, I just ask you to do the one thing I've asked you to do every single week we've been doing this, and that is give me that. Hell yeah. Give me that. Nah, we ain't giving her no time. Nah. Old news. But anyway, since we're talking about old news, we talk about news that's a week old. We ain't talking about older news. You understand what I'm saying? We ain't talking about we talking about we're gonna push all that to the side. We're gonna talk about things that are relevant right now. And even though CM Punk picked off a lot of people, and Tony Khan has, and the Young Bucks have, and Ace Steel has, and Pat Buck has, so many people have done so much. But Neff, give it to me raw, bro. What's up?
Oh my. First off, I would like to say happy week 1 to all my fantasy football managers out there. Oh, what a day it is. Football is back. That means we are out our cave and we are back in the real world. You know how we do. So, good old AEW, man. First of all, I think when we covered this 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the whole CM Punk thing, about the injury, and we felt like, this could be setting it up so that they can give them a match that day, and then we'll push the rest or push the main event to a pay-per-view. Well, we got that. CM Punk wins and all that, and all this backstage brawl and all this other stuff goes on. Here's the thing. I don't trust AEW anymore. I have lost a lot of trust for them. Only because, for the simple fact, that they're competing, but they're really not competing with WWE. And I think that new blood or that new pulse of energy from Triple H over in the WWE and everybody in charge has put the chokehold on AEW to come up with something more creative. Be more edgy, give us more news, give us fake injuries, give us backstage brawls, give us tension, give us this feel and this vibe. So when it comes to AEW, I don't trust a goddamn thing. This Sunday, so you already know what it is. So look, when all that stuff goes down, I'm still sitting here like, what the fuck? I don't believe it. And now we're hearing other news saying that CM Punk has suffered a tricep injury. Come on. This happened on the pay-per-view. I don't believe it. So now, it's this back and forth thing of just what's really to believe. I mean, the Trios Championships get stripped, and we have this new tournament, and the whole Heavyweight Championship, that's a whole new tournament. This is a whole new thing. I'm kind of going to step away from AEW just for a little bit and let them get their shit together, because I don't believe anything now.
You know what? I don't blame you one bit. I really don't. And, I mean, right now it's just making the WWE that everybody was taking a dump on a year ago look like the saviors of professional wrestling. Just prove how fickle the fans can be, And I'm not saying that WWE doesn't have a good product, because they got their product is pretty awesome. And we'll continue talking about WWE a little further in our time here on the Plain Available Pro Wrestling Podcast. But as we are talking about AEW, let me just say this. CM Punk, everybody that I've talked to said it's not a bad investment. At this point, it seems like a bad investment, because it seems like every time you put him in a position to be in the main event, or you try to put him at the top of the card, something happens that always makes AEW press the reset button. AEW has gone from being a promising new organization to TNA. I'm not talking about Impact Wrestling. I'm talking about TNA. Remember, TNA used to turn around, and every 2 years there was something new at TNA. Jeff Jarrett came back. Samoa Joe's here. Kurt Angle's here. Hulk Hogan's here. Hulk Hogan's gone. It's just that's how it's starting to be. And so
that's a tough and interesting take, sir.
Yeah, it is. It's starting to look really, really bad. And I don't want to say too much, because before we're done, I'm tearing Tony Khan a whole new asshole. I'm just going to tell you right now. That's all I'm going to say. But as we continue talking about AEW and All Out, I really don't remember anything else that happened from All Out, considering, you had the return of MJF, of course, and had this thing played out like it was supposed to play out, or like it should have played out, barring another catastrophic Punk injury, then we would have gotten the setup for the match or the card, or more or less the situation that everybody has been waiting for. CM Punk and MJF. But because Punk got injured again. That's why we don't get it.
You asked me the question. You asked me the question yesterday on set. And hearing your take, because of course we didn't have time to really go over it or go into depth about it. But hearing your take now and kind of thinking on it and letting that simmer, that is very, very interesting. CM Punk does bring a vibe to an organization to just change the aura, change the feel, change the vibe. I mean, CM Punk is looking more like a pump and dump. It's like he'll pump your volume up. You know what I'm saying? He'll bring that crowd level up. He'll bring the excitement up for only such amount of time. And then he has to stick to his principles, which his principles is to get rowdy, to get unrattled, to cause controversy, to do all this extra. And it brings the organization way down. So that's a very interesting take. And I'm gonna have to let that simmer. Is my light like going in and out on your end? I just want to make sure.
No, it's not. It's like when you move a little bit, it does it. But man, no, you good, man. You good.
Y'all just gonna get this lightning effect. Hold on. All right, but yeah, that's an interesting take, and that's definitely something to really think about for CM Punk moving forward.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's just, whew, I don't know. That's I'm gonna. I can see right now. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Even with this championship tournament going on, I wish they would have had. I wish they would have immediately crowned a new champion that night. Okay. Instead, we got stuck with another Ring of Honor title match as the main event on Dynamite, which makes
Should have gave
absolutely
it back
no
to
sense.
John Moxley.
Huh?
I would have gave it back to John Moxley.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, I would have too. I mean, I totally agree with you. A match would have been good, but honestly, at this point, with so much stuff happening, you've already had. This is the second vacancy they've had this year. This year,
By the same
just
person.
simply put the belt back on John Moxley and move forward. And somebody on TikTok actually asked me this the other day, and they were saying, "Do you think AEW is starting to decline?" I said, I don't think they're starting to decline right now, but they run the risk of starting to decline very soon. And the reason I say that is this: AEW, the meat of AEW, the value of AEW has always been in the moments. All right. Once the moment is passed, you just wait for another one. It's just like a bus. Bus comes, wait for the next bus. Here comes one bus, here comes the next bus. AEW doesn't give you anything of substance that you can hold on to for too long. The only thing they gave us for the most part was CM Punk and MJF. And you saw how that turned out, right? Punk screwed that up because he can't stay healthy. It's just that simple. So now, with talking about declining and everything, I agree with what you're saying about CM Punk bringing eyes to the product. All right. But you got to have something once people get their eyes on the product to make them stay. And you've already stated that you're going to be watching AEW or probably not watching AEW or much of AEW in the near future. And I don't blame you because I'm in the same boat with you. I'm probably not going to watch a whole lot of AEW. I don't see myself doing it. I really don't, because there's nothing there that makes me want to stay there. Are they starting to decline? I don't know. I don't think they're starting to decline, but they're pretty close. They're pretty close. So I'm gonna save that energy for a little later on. But we're gonna talk about something else you and I actually talked about on set. For those of you who don't know, Neff and I are actually in the middle of filming a movie. Okay, so that's why we talk about saying things on set. We can't give too much out about it, NDAs and intellectual property. So we got to respect that all day. But anyway, let's go to another subject, an immediate subject that we talked about. And this is something that you talked about with a whole lot of glee. And I joined in with you. And that subject is Dominic Mysterio. Judgment Day. Neff, what's up with Dominic Mysterio?
Oh, gosh, what is this going on? Weeks now. Look, here's the thing. We talked about it before, and I always, like I've always said, Rey Mysterio is the one that got me into wrestling. So of course, legend in my eyes. He will be in the Hall of Fame, and his son. I remember seeing him on Rey Mysterio's like championship run or whatever. He was out there in the crowd. And he was just a little tiny little baby. He's just a little baby. You know what I'm saying? A little pup. You know what I'm saying? Being carried. He still wasn't walking at that point. So this is how far back I go with that. So Here we are, Clash at the Castle, and I didn't anticipate the whole turn happening there. It made sense, which was a phenomenal show. We didn't get to cover it, but I'm glad we're talking about it now. It was a phenomenal show with great moments, things that we will touch base on. But when it came to Dominic turning, I immediately was like, okay, here we go. All right, well, we're going to ship Rey Mysterio off, and this whole feud and all this is going to start with Dominic and Edge. I see Judgment Day laughing in the corner and all that stuff. But come the next night, he's immediately in Judgment Day. There was no decision made. There was no handshake at the end of the match. There was no hug. There was no walk off with them. It's just immediately, I'm in Judgment Day. He came out, first of all, looking like Johnny Depp on Crybaby. With the hair all slicked back, gelled. I said, oh my God, what is this? I was looking for a Eddie Guerrero moment. You know what I'm saying? A little shimmy, little gather. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was looking like to me. But I immediately was disappointed. And we had a good laugh yesterday and said, wow, Rhea Ripley really must have put it on young Dom.
Yeah.
because the boy is not walking the same. And that's a walk of a man that has lost all hopes in being a real edgy player in the game because he has no backbone. He's not believable as a heel. I don't even think the boy has an angry side. I don't even think he's ever cussed at this point because now the boy looks softer than Sara Lee bread. I don't know. That's my take on that. Hey, Dom, boy.
I gotta go. I gotta agree with you, man. I gotta agree. We talk so much about this, man, because most of the time, like the Judgment Day is just like this radical group that's supposed to be, Rage Against the Machine type of deal. We don't like what's going on. We're taking a darker approach to things. Dominic just looks emasculated. He just looks like he's being led around by a leash. Like seriously, he looks like he looks like a boy toy. You know what I'm saying? He just looks like he does not look like somebody who's angry at somebody. Like he's just like, he's like one of those suburban kids. I hate you, mom. That's what he looks like. That's exactly what he looks like. He does not look like somebody who's mad enough to do something. He looks like he's pissed off at his mother, but when he needs money to go to the store, all of a sudden he loves his mom again. That's what he looks like. He does not look like a tough guy. He has a modern day mullet, which is something else we talked on. Maybe he should have done the whole shimmy thing. It would have been kind of cool. But yeah, right now I do not see Dominic looks like the mascot of the Judgment Day. He doesn't look like a player. He doesn't look like somebody who has the talent, the presence, or the pull to bring them any closer to a championship in WWE. If championships are their goal, he does not look like a solid addition to that group. He really doesn't. He doesn't do that for me. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to cover. So what we're going to do, wait a minute. We got something in the comment section. Uh-oh. Who
turned away from football?
Huh?
I said, who turned away from football?
Michael Brown actually did. Mike said, Neff called it the other week. Dom is a sub.
I'm trying to tell you,
God. Man.
Trying to tell you, it's some real dominatrix stuff going on over there. That's all I got to say.
I'll tell y'all right now, I dabble a little bit in graphic arts. I'm pretty sure before the night is over, I'm gonna come up with a 50 Shades of Grey poster with Dominic and Rhea Ripley on it. And
it's a real dominatrix situation going on over there.
Dom, does it stand for dominated? Because apparently that's what he looks like. Looks like he's been dominated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a very, very quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about some more professional wrestling news, including the hard-hitting match between Intercontinental Champion Gunther and Sheamus at Clash at the Castle. Stick and stay, don't go away. This is the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast. Log on to StallionSquad.com today and use discount code VELVET10 to get yourself some great savings on premium fitness gear, no matter what your fitness level may be. Stallion Squad, squad up.
This is the Boozerweight, Matt Sexcells, and you're watching the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Max Sex Sales.
Yeah, man. He's the man. Most definitely a man. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast. So happy you guys could join us. Let us get even further into last week and this week's action. All right. So, one of the most memorable matches at a memorable Clash at the Castle show or card, the first show or first super card WWE has put on in the UK in 30 years, was a matchup between two really, really hard hitters, Intercontinental Champion Gunther and Sheamus. Now, there are times when I watch matches and people have gotten stiff for very brief moments. This match was stiff from beginning to end. Sheamus is one of the hardest hitters in WWE. And to see him get hit and see him grimace when Gunther was hitting him was crazy. And Gunther hits hard. And to watch him grimace was amazing. That was, oh my gosh, I don't think words could do that any justice. I know we talked and I said after that match happened, it seemed like AEW tried to do some one-upsmanship with the matchup between Ishii and Eddie Kingston, but it didn't even come close. It didn't even come close. Mm-hmm. This match between Gunther and Sheamus was crazy stiff. Gunther wound up winning the match, but trust me, both of those guys put on a heck of a performance. Most definitely did. Neff, Gunther, Sheamus, what's up?
Man, like I said on set, I said, this is my vote for match of the year. Okay? I don't care what comes after this. It was just the feel, the energy of the crowd, the energy of Sheamus and Gunther. Like it was electrifying. Like I haven't seen a match like that in a while. And that is that introduction to that big man league that I was talking about, as far as just that big fight feel, that lay it all out. We're gonna go straight up. We're gonna welt each other's bodies. We're gonna just take it to the extreme. And not extreme as far as like high flying. It wasn't much high flying going on. It wasn't, distractions. It wasn't any interference. It wasn't anybody from either corner coming out to help or pull the referees out or anything. It was a straight up slugfest, and that gets the respect and the honor that both of them deserve in that ring. It takes a lot, as you know, to even put on a match like that, to be in the moment, to feed off of each other, and to be able to put a beating on each other. Match of the year for me, going in my books. We'll see what else comes for the years out, but I got to give it match of the year for me.
Yeah, that match was something else. And you know what? As far as the Intercontinental Championship was going, that match was needed. That match was needed. That title has been disrespected so much over the past year. Oh my God, that belt. Those guys have done more for that championship with that one match than anybody has in the last year. And their feud is not over. Because they
you saw the next, was it the next night or the
SmackDown. Was it SmackDown or was it the next night? It was the 6-man match.
With, the 303.
And then Sheamus and Butch and Rich Holland. And
fight night. That was epic, and the crowd respected it and felt it. And as soon as Sheamus and Gunther got involved, it was just like the crowd went crazy, because it's just that much appreciation for what they were able to put on. So I look forward to more feuds with them. I think that puts Sheamus back at the top as far as just in that conversation of, what I'm saying? Like, let's not disrespect Sheamus. Sheamus puts on amazing matches, and he's still that slugger that the WWE needs. And man, hats off to him. Great match of the year.
Absolutely. And I love those kind of matches, man, because we did see the return of Braun Strowman this week. But the crazy thing is, before Braun Strowman left WWE or was released, one of his bigger feuds was a pre-championship Bobby Lashley. And those guys had some really hard-hitting matches. And you would think, like, man, as hard as they hit, man, what could top that? Sheamus and Gunther far exceeded it. As far as, like, some of my favorite feuds over the past couple years, you got, like, Gunther and Sheamus has just been a match so far. But I got a feeling it's going to be even better. So you got, like, matches with, like, Gunther and Sheamus. You got Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. And then you have a feud that I think a lot of people have forgotten about. And if you haven't watched this, you should. The NXT feud between Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic. One of the hardest hitting feuds you will ever see in your life. Those guys hit hard. But not to veer too far away from this matchup, this match was everything. And we talked to Rodney, who's our producer for the producer and director for the film that we're actually working on. And we were actually talking about him. He does music. And we were talking about one of his most famous songs. And we were saying, are we going to get a part 2 to that and everything? He was like, ain't no part 2. You can't make a part 2 to that. You know that there's going to be a sequel to this match. Neff, do you think that they can top the first one?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I want them to not go in a different direction. When they meet up, they need to square up every time. I would have no distractions, no interference, no nothing. Let them straight up just go at it. And that's what, because they could have went that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got 4 other eligible bodies in the back that could easily came out and disrupted the match, and they didn't go that route. I'm happy they didn't. And I think that they saw everything that we saw is just the pure potential of what this feud can look like and what WWE is trying to stand for as far as just a heavy hitter, big man lead. So yeah, a part 2, definitely. I'm looking at part 2, 3, and 4. Hopefully we get I'll take a WrestleMania match with them, as big as that could be. So yeah.
Nice, very nice. Well, as we are talking about people making statements, Sheamus and Gunther speaking body language that does not need interpretation. Somebody else who's speaking really raw as of lately is the one and only baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey. Her promos have been, man. Neff, what's up with Ronda, man?
You know what's up with Ronda, boy. That's that heel talk. I love that heel talk in her blood. That's Ronda Rousey. I told y'all before, man. I don't know what it is about Ronda, but I'll take an ankle lock. I'll take a fucking fist suplex. I'll take whatever from Ronda. I don't know what training she went through, because before I had issues with her promos. But I think it was just because she had to play it safe, and she knew that, I'm still the baddest woman on the planet, but I also got to give, these cookie cutter promos. So I had an issue with her promos, and I said, oh, wow, like, I don't think Ronda's really that good on the mic. But she gives me, what did she give me? She gives me so much.
She gives you something. She gives you
something. So much.
She gives you something. Oh, does she ever give you something?
But Ronda's doing the damn thing, man, and she needs to stay right there in that pocket. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully they get the belt back to her. I think that she can really go for another run right now. Liv Morgan, I mean, sitting up top eating popcorn and shit. I was, whatever. This is Liv. But yeah, Ronda's cutting promos like she should have been, and this is very interesting. So I would love to see her just continue to keep getting gangsta on everybody, and baddest woman on the planet.
Yeah, this is the Ronda Rousey I think we've all been waiting on. This is the Ronda Rousey that we've been waiting to see, because they've always tried to make her a face with a bad attitude. Now she's a heel with a heel attitude, and it's working. It's working on all levels, man.
Just wait till Charlotte come back.
Oh yeah, I mean, it'd be a nice way to actually make Charlotte a face, because there's not a whole lot of people. It's strange and it's crazy, but there's really not a whole lot of people that actually like Charlotte outside of her wrestling ability, But it's a nice way to turn Charlotte face. It really is. So I just I want to see what happens with Ronda. Liv, you've had your moment. It's over. It's over. It's over. It is so over. Like, I just do not understand. I'm like, how soon will Liv lose the championship? Like, seriously. I hope they don't swerve us and get Ronda all big and built up and all this kind of stuff, and Liv winds up keeping the championship. Oh my God. That's just bad. Now, I like Ronda Rousey, but I've always liked Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler has always been one of my favorite female wrestlers, especially when she was champion in NXT. She was down there killing it. Like, a lot of the women who are doing certain things in certain places have all tried to take the championship off of Shayna Baszler. And she actually did lose it to Kairi Sane, but she wound up getting it back. But her reigns as NXT Women's Champion, the stuff of legend. And I've always wanted her to be elevated. So I don't know what they're going to do with her, but I'm happy to some degree that they're actually thinking of putting her in something that does not involve her being part of a tag team with a partner she's got to carry. That's just the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, this is fun. This is so much fun. But guess what? We are far from done. We are going to come back. And when we come back, let's put it like this. I don't know if I'm for all the people who are actually friends with Neff on social media, maybe you did see his live video, if he posted it, of he and I holding weaponry yesterday. So
I didn't post it.
You didn't post? Okay, well here's something. Neff actually has a video of he and I holding weaponry, high-powered weaponry. What do you do with high-powered weaponry? You shoot it. Oh yeah, you shoot it. So while Neff is not a professional wrestler, he does know how to shoot. And you know I know how to shoot. So when we come back from this break, both he and I are coming to the front of the table with both guns loaded. He's shooting, I'm shooting. You don't want to miss this, ladies and gentlemen. Stick and stay. Don't go away. It's the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast.
I mean, this is not the MySpace age, Dad. We need to use social media to our advantage.
She's still missing.
Well, then you should know I'm going to stop at absolutely nothing until I find mine.
Oh, should I wait with you? You know, it's pretty dangerous out here this time of night.
Why can't her mother watch her? Hell, why can't she watch herself? She's a teenager.
Good choice of words.
Excuse me? You're right. Who wants a case of the bitch?
Excuse me?
Hey, baby.
I found his address.
So you all been thinking about this for a while, huh?
You gonna act like you don't hear me? Oh, I got something for that. Freeze!
You are my life.
Yeah, well, you have a funny way of showing it.
Hey, Captain!
Charles Reedon, computer specialist. Think you guys have him labeled as the Grant Park killer.
The war is just beginning. And the bad part about it, they won't even see it coming. What's your fixation?
Hey, Neff. Hey, we're back, bro.
Oh, my bad.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to clear the floor. And I'm going to give the floor to Neff. And Neff is going to give us another shoot about his good friend, Conspiracy Theory, or whatever else he wants to shoot on. Neff, the floor is yours, brother.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, on this week one of that good old football, we are back. Took a week off, but you know, you gotta take some time off. You know what I'm saying? Things happen. You know, it's just everyday life. Things happen. You know. And speaking of things happening, my boy, Mr. Conspiracy Theory. Oh my! Another week, and a week, and a week, and another week. How long has it been since Money in the Bank? We've had that suitcase tucked by our side. We have been tossed to the side by people like Roman Reigns, and you know, we've asked the question, "Who's your daddy?" I've asked it for weeks and weeks and weeks. But here we are in a phase of his career where that Money in the Bank suitcase might just make it all the way to WrestleMania, where it may never be cashed in. Prime example: Clash at the Castle. Young Conspiracy Theory tried to cash in his Money in the Bank, and oh my, he almost did it at a great opportune time to cash it on in. He was this close. But then next thing you know, he steps a little bit off to the left a little bit, and bam! Get knocked the hell out by Tyson Fury. Now here's the sad thing. If I'm a pro wrestler and a boxer is sitting ringside and gets to swing on me, then I got to ask myself some questions. And not only will I ask myself some questions, I will go backstage and ask the executive producer, the cameraman, the producer, the water boy, the locker room attendant, the bathroom attendant, everybody. Everybody's getting the question asked. Excuse me, I thought we were wrestling here. How come I'm getting knocked out by a boxer? Oh, they're going to string this along. Tyson Fury is going to get so many opportunities to cash in this suitcase, and he's not going to come close. Because they don't want that boy to cash it in. There's a reason for that. Is it a reason for that? We don't know. All we do know is that they're just gonna carry this thing on out. And like I said, we may make it to WrestleMania. Maybe, maybe he'll cash it in at WrestleMania. Who knows? But I think this might be the most epic fail of a Money in the Bank suitcase we've ever seen ever since it has established itself within the WWE community. Nobody has ever had to go through so many loops and bounds to try to cash it in, especially getting knocked out by somebody that doesn't even work for the WWE. So, conspiracy theory, we will always ask, who's your daddy? But now we're going to start asking you, will you ever cash in this Money in the Bank? Or will it expire just like your contract? That's all I got for conspiracy theory this week. Maybe he'll give me more news and more things to shoot on. I just find it very disappointing that we can't get this suitcase off this young man. And I think it'll expire before he ever gets the chance to. That's just what it is.
Oh, man. Another week of conspiracy theory from Neff. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a few choice words about the illustrious AEW CEO, chairman of the board, general manager, whatever other title he wants to give himself, Tony Khan. And honestly, Tony, I have some advice for you. Stay the fuck off TV. Oh, just that simple. You are doing exactly what everybody with power, with an organization, a wrestling organization of some kind, eventually does. You take all your assets, put them in the limelight. You like the way they shine, you like the way they glisten, you like the way the light gleams and bounces off of them and everything. And then sooner or later, you inch closer to that light. And the closer you get to the light, the warmer it gets. The warmer it gets, the better it starts to feel. And the better it starts to feel, the more you find yourself in that light. So we did not need you at the press conference scrum. Maybe we did, but if we did, we needed your words to be very minimal. We needed you off the camera. Maybe you should have been pulling the strings of the people who were sitting in the chairs, who just got finished wrestling, who just got finished putting on a show, who just got finished putting butts in the seats. Maybe you should just stay in the background. Every time a decision is made in AEW or a catastrophic decision is made, you know who's right there? Tony Khan, sticking his face in the camera, looking cracked up and jacked up as usual. Here he is sitting up here telling us all this stuff. Dude, if you got so much money, do the world a favor and get a goddamn haircut. Seriously. Or do something with your hair. Get a man bun, something. But beyond all that, the consistency with everything that's happening in the AEW and you having to find your face on TV tells us all one thing. AEW is in trouble. It's in trouble. We don't need to see you. It's called All Elite Wrestling. It's not all about you. There's nothing about you that's elite besides your financial status, and you are not a wrestler. Take people and figureheads and put them in position to represent your company and your organization. We do not need to see or hear from you anymore this year, but I got a feeling that we will. I got a feeling that somewhere there's going to be a change that happens in AEW. And there's probably going to be a championship change, and you are going to hug whoever wins the belt like a long-lost relative, like you always do. But speaking of loss, that's exactly where you need to get. Let your company live on its own. Stay in the background and fix the problems that always find their way to the front that we always got to deal with as viewers. That's why Neff ain't going to be watching you anytime soon. That's why I'm not going to be watching you anytime soon. Tony Khan, stop conning us and do your damn job. whatever the hell it is this week. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I would take another break, but you know what? Let's find another topic to talk about. What could we possibly do? Oh, before we start talking about anything, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this to you right now. New Generation Pro Wrestling will be in Macon, Georgia next Sunday at Smiley's Flea Market. And guess who's going to be on the show? Yours truly. The last time I was there, I took the NGPW/ECWE champion to the limit. So much so that he left the ring and got himself counted out. Now, because of that technicality, he got to keep the championship. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing next Sunday other than wrestling. But I'm not going to be the only one there. There'll be guys like me. There'll be Hunter James. There'll be Chris Nelms. There'll be Skrilla the Great. There'll be the new tag team champions of the 605 Wrecking Crew. A lot of guys out there on the show. So either 1 or 2 o'clock, I'm thinking 2 p.m. next Sunday afternoon at Smiley's Flea Market in Macon, Georgia. Come watch some good old wrestling. All right? New Generation Pro Wrestling in Macon, Georgia next Sunday. Now that we've done all that, Neff, is there anything else you'd like to talk about as it relates to professional wrestling that we may not have touched on? Oh, wait a minute. You know we've got new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we got new tag team champions. But for some reason, and I don't know if this is a storyline in the making, it seems like everybody is making Aaliyah out to be like, you know, like this looks like a Mutt and Jeff tag team. Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, they're making Aaliyah look like she's the pet or something like that, like she's the sidekick, like she doesn't hold up her end. What do you think of the new women's tag team champions, Neff?
I mean, it's they're okay. I mean, I think
the new tag team champions have left Neff speechless.
They're not must-see TV. It's kind of like you know what to expect when you watch them. Like you know, Aaliyah's gonna do her whole little thing, and I mean, she's not a terrible wrestler.
Before you finish, let me ask you something. What is Aaliyah's thing?
Tagger. She could tag the shit out of Raquel. You know what I'm saying? She's phenomenal at that. She can. You see how far she leaped to make that tag?
Amazing.
Aaliyah's a phenomenal tagger. Shit, that's her finishing move. Tag and get the hell on out of there. That's what it is. Hey, look, she's not a terrible wrestler. I don't know much about what she does. I just see every time I see her, I see her make a tag. So that's why I say
oh my God.
she's great at making a tag. But Raquel, she's a beast. She's a beast. And she's She-Hulk. She's a She-Hulk. You know what I'm saying? She throwing people around, body slamming 2 people at a time. I think like we said before about the women's tag team championship is that it's just it doesn't carry much energy with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like, I mean, it's great to see, you know, a women's tag team and all, but I mean, let's be real, without Sasha and Naomi, it just, you know, I think it was kind of going to go somewhere at that point, but now we're kind of starting all the way over where it's like, all right, do we need these belts? Who's really going to compete for it? I mean, we still got Natalya out there. Like, good gosh, like, I mean, it's, you know, like this is where we are in the women's division. So to keep creating tag teams that's going to compete and look good out there, this is the best that we got right now. So let's roll with it. We got Raquel and we got the #1 tagger in the world, Aaliyah.
Yeah, that's no true words have been spoken, man. So I mean, I believe there's a tag team title match this week on Raw. Do you think
they
that
fight every week? There's no bloodshed. There's no energy exerted. There's nothing. It's an easy.
They fought the what at one time was the best tag team in NXT and beat them. But now, and the only thing I really remember is Raquel Rodriguez. You know, I faintly remember an Aaliyah tag. I faintly remember it. But I do remember Raquel Rodriguez doing her thing. Huh?
Her tag is Okay, they're gonna be like, she tagged shit out of match. You gotta give it to Aaliyah because I have seen nothing else from her. And I don't even remember their song intro music. Aaliyah jumps on her at the end of the match, like she's just happy to be there. I mean, they're pulling 10-minute matches, so I don't know. Yeah, it is what it is. This is the best we got right now. Just for now.
Right. So, when do you think Bailey's gonna enter the wrestling ring again?
I think 100%. To be honest, I think Bailey she's good enough to do whatever she's doing, but I don't believe that she's 100%. So they're really, really just walking the line with her.
Gotcha. I got you on that. Let's see. It's a lot going on in pro wrestling. We are just like it's so much, man. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff that may have happened in pro wrestling that may have piqued people's interest. As we talk about, have you heard the news? Reportedly, the Young Bucks have sent out feelers to WWE. Yeah.
What?
This is news I heard today. The Young Bucks actually sent out feelers to WWE. It's a rumor that it has happened. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega in WWE. I really don't. I would hope that people in WWE don't want to see the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega in WWE. When I think of a defection, I think of the Radicals. I think of the Radicals leaving WCW and going to WWE. And some people might look at this and say the same thing, but I will never look at the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega in the same vein as I look at Guerrero, Malenko, Saturn, and even Benoit. You know, I do not look at them that way. So I hope this is just a rumor. I really do. And I hope even if they do send out feelers, I hope WWE doesn't take them seriously because I do not want to see them there. I really don't. I don't want to see them anywhere but AEW. And when they're there, I'm probably not going to be watching. I'm a huge fan of Kenny Omega when he's in Japan. In AEW, they put him with Don Callis, and he's just the drizzling shits. He's horrible. So, Neff.
Okay. I mean, that's the first time I'm hearing it. I didn't see that earlier, so that's news to me. So my reaction is the same as yours. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I want to see AEW wiggle their way out this little hole that they're burying for themselves. So keep all your superstars until Triple H buy y'all out.
Do you think we're ever going to get a Ring of Honor TV show?
No. The difference is that I don't think that they're listening to the people, and they'll stick with whatever they got and whatever's working for them. And again, I think they're trying to compete right now. They're doing a lot of backstage brawls and all this extra stuff. Like, I mean, it's just a lot. Like, even just the feel. Like, I just want to even go back to Raw. Just the feel of it. When Raw opened up, it's like they opened up right at the very end of the Roman and Drew McIntyre match at the Clash at the Castle. Like, it's just that energy, bro. Like, it's the energy. You can just feel the shift and the change on how to just bring you in. So they're getting it over there, man. And AEW is scrambling, trying to just think of some stuff to really do. So
yeah, I mean, with WWE, there's something that a lot of people have wished for a long time, and there's hope. There's hope in the product. Like, you actually see, like, it's interesting to see the fans' reaction to WWE, because it seemed like when they were doing bad, the fans say they hated the product, but they love to talk about it. They love to talk about it. Yeah. Fans would watch WWE every week just to run to the internet and say something bad about the product. It's strange and crazy how fickle fans can be, but that's how it is. And now those same fans are praising WWE. You know, and maybe they finally got what they hoped for. But and I like the WWE product because I mean, even a new twist on different things, like even with the cage match with Bobby Lashley and The Miz this week, with Dexter Lumis sliding from up under the ring, like nobody saw that coming. You know, little things. Like you'd be surprised how the smallest things make such a big difference in the show. And
I gotta take that clip and put Michael Jackson's "How could it be like somebody's watching?"
That was crazy, man. It was something to behold. Definitely. But with AEW, let's see. I'm thinking about, for some reason, the Acclaim has crossed my mind. What are your thoughts on the Acclaimed?
Who's the Acclaim?
That tells me everything I need to know. Next question.
Who that? Who there?
You don't know. You don't know who the Acclaimed are. That's wow. Yeah. Oh my. That's that one hit a little different right there. That one hit a little different. I'm trying to think of some other stuff that might have happened at Clash. Which one do you think will actually happen first? A Ring of Honor television show or NXT Europe? Which one do you think will actually put on a television program first?
NXT Europe. It's a well-oiled machine over there. When WWE see they're gonna do something, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
Right. Oh man. I can kind of I want to see who's gonna actually be part of that, man, because I think they're looking for new blood. A lot of the guys that they released aren't bad workers. Actually, a lot of them are former NXT UK champions, like Flash Morgan Webster and the guy that used to team with Tyler Bate and Mustache Mountain. A lot of those guys, man. I'm sure they'll land on their feet, or maybe they'll get picked back up by WWE a little later on. But I'm very interested to see if NXT Europe is going to actually create new opportunities for some of these guys that are thriving in the on the UK independent wrestling scene. And that scene is awesome, man. That UK wrestling scene and that Australian wrestling scene is pretty good, man. I've actually on the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast Twitter account, I've befriended quite a few UK organizations and Australian organizations. So shout out to all you guys if you guys are watching us right now. And please, let me just say this to everybody out there that's watching. Wrestlers, if you want to be part of the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast, you want to be part of our conversation from week to week, just send us something, man. Just let us know. Hit us in the DMs, hit me, hit Neff, hit the PW podcast inbox. Let us know what's up. Promoters, you guys have shows. We want to take your 30-second spots and put them in between our segments and promote your shows. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're in Baghdad or Boston. I don't care where you are. Just let us know what you want to, shoot us something, and we'll be happy to share your information with everybody that's watching, because we're always looking for stuff.
Always.
Huh?
I just said always.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can be a superstar like Neff. You can be like this guy. You can be that guy.
Come join us on the podcast. I will say though, on last little shot, or because I know we're getting ready to wrap it up soon. We talked about so much. This was a fun show. We said yesterday that we have to bring the energy. Bring the energy. That's what it's been all week long. Right. What I will like to close the show with is how wonderful it is to be a wrestling fan at this time, when we get to see a whole generation of wrestlers coming to the game. And by that, I mean the bloodline is thicker than water, boy. Let me tell you, they thicker than water. All right. So, Rikishi, legend, Hall of Famer in my eyes. That's my guy. So this is all three of his sons, man. Like, how amazing is that? Like, if I had 3 sons that will all end up in the same organization that I was in, that's just like, that's incredible. You may hate it, people may hate it, but I think that is very strategic. I think that it's a very brilliant move to go ahead and bring that young man up, and it makes a very good storyline if we're gonna lead this thing all the way to Hollywood at SoFi Stadium and bring The Rock in for a famous match that will go down in history against Roman. You got the head of the table of the bloodline, and then you got the alpha omega of the bloodline on the other side saying, hey, you're going to bring the family in, we must collide. It's going to be a beautiful thing, man. They're setting it up very, 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 very. It's just being set up, man. The storyline, the table is being set. I like it a lot.
I agree, man. I agree. Anybody that knows me knows that my professional wrestling career has been influenced since its infancy by the Anoa'i family and the Fatu family. You know, everybody from Alpha and Sika to the Head Shrinkers, Rikishi, Samu, to Jacob Fatu doing his thing in MLW, to the Usos doing their thing. Now Solo Sikoa joining the fold. Roman Reigns, always loved Jimmy Snuka. He'll always be a legend in my eyes, no matter what anybody says about him.
That's incredible. And the list goes on and on.
Yeah, man, that bloodline is crazy. It's amazing. It is without question. And everybody has their opinion about things, but I believe in strength in numbers, and I haven't seen a bad member of that family yet. You know, I will always tell anybody, I don't care who you root for, and I don't care who's fighting for second, but when we start talking about the best families in the history of professional wrestling, number 1, the Samoan wrestling tribe. The Samoan wrestling family, the best family in the history of professional wrestling, and they keep on growing. Like, they manufacture wrestlers. You understand what I'm saying? And Solo Sikoa is like the latest one. My buddy, Phenom.com has sent us a comment, and his comment says, bring it full circle. Add Tamina and Naomi.
Exactly.
I agree. I would like to see them added. Because with that bloodline, man, there's so many people. I just don't want it to be. I don't want it to get like. I don't want NWO numbers. You know, NWO was so big they sliced it in half, and they still had too many people.
But that was a different kind of setup, because even with that was just such a wide range of personalities and people that had already established themselves. So it just kind of looked like you don't need to be with them. I mean, when we saw Sting with red and black NWO, it was like, all right, turn this shit off. Right. Like, I don't want to see this again. So it's just a difference when it's like, this is blood. This ain't written. This ain't, storyline. Put this person with this person. Like, no, this is blood that runs deep through the WWE. So it's it's just incredible, man. And to have them so prominent in what we as fans are entertained by, to just see that continue on. That's why I said, if this SoFi WrestleMania does not happen with The Rock and Roman, I don't care. I don't even care. Like, they have to wrestle. Okay, they have to wrestle. At this point, they have to wrestle. But they got to make that happen. And there's no way they're gonna miss that opportunity to make that happen.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. Yeah, that's just the payoff for that's gonna be a heck of a payoff. And with Triple H's mind, oh my God, I'm just thinking, it's just, and his style is not as overbearing as Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon wanted to be just as big a star. Just as big a star as all his other guys did, and so Triple H is in the background. He's actually putting stuff together. He's not really in front of the camera. Take notes, Tony Khan. Take notes.
But that's surprising too, though, because even what you're saying, like, as far as Vince later in his years, after the double quad entrance ramp injury, he started slowing down on making a lot of front of camera appearances and stuff, but it was still just that old dog new tricks mentality. Like, he didn't want to really do anything different. Triple H said it in a recent interview that it was like every time he approached Vince, it was like he was he was able to be all over the place and be able to, like, focus on this and then focus on that and do this and do that. I think with Triple H, just the, like his humbleness and the way that he's humbled himself in his position and stayed background, but at least giving us some great entertainment along the way. Like, he knows that this will be so important to the product to have that match happen at WrestleMania. That's all I'm saying. It has to happen. There's no other time I don't think you can put this together. Roman's going to be done after this year. After WrestleMania, we will not see Roman. I think Roman will be gone for at least a good 2-3 years before he ever steps back in the ring. So the opportunity is in Hollywood. You got Rock right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be the biggest match. So it's got to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whew. To say this has been fun would be an understatement. And as always, Neff, let these beautiful people know where they can find you on social media, sir.
You can find me on Facebook. That's Jesse. I am Neff Miller. And then Instagram, 480MGNEF. That's where you can find me.
That's what's up. And as you know, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Velvet478. And please be sure to follow our podcast on Facebook and Twitter at PVPW Podcast. That's PVPW Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Planet Velvet Pro Wrestling Podcast for the multi-talented Neff. I am Anthony Velvet Hall. And we will see you all very soon, as in next week. Will there be more conspiracy theories? Will there be another reason to say bad things to Tony Khan? Will people do stupid stuff in professional wrestling? You know the answer to all these things is pretty much yes. And guess who's going to be right here to tear him a new one? Us two. The hottest tag team in the business. Uncrowned champs of podcasting. You already know what's happening. We about to go watch some more Pigskin, and then tomorrow night we're going to watch some professional wrestling. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, sign it off. Take care of yourselves and each other.